There's a storm coming. It's a Cat 4 storm surge and maybe a Cat 1 or 2 landfall. That's the hurricane threat looming over the Sunshine State. Ian is expected to hit Florida by the middle of the week with heavy rains, high winds, and flooding.
This is the latest major storm in the last week after Hurricane Fiona slammed Puerto Rico and a powerful typhoon lashed the Philippines. George Thomas has the details.
From the Panhandle,
just make sure I'm self-sufficient for a while because I know electricity is going to go out,
to Miami.
We just tell our staff and all our customers, have water, have food, treat it like it's coming.
Floridians not taking any chances ahead of Ian's arrival.
Be prepared now. Take a look at your plans, know where you're going to go, and how to keep your family safe.
With the looming threat of Ian to the Sunshine State, Florida Governor DeSantis activating some 2,500 National Guardsmen and declaring a state of emergency.
It's important to point out to folks that the path of this is still uncertain. The impacts will be broad throughout the state of Florida.
Authorities telling residents to expect heavy rains across the state with high winds and storm surge.
We could see a situation where we have Cat 4 storm surge and potentially a Cat 1 or 2 hurricane landfall.
And across the Pacific. This was the scene in northern Philippines as the most powerful typhoon this year slammed into the country over the weekend, knocking out power in 2 entire provinces, causing widespread flooding, forcing officials to suspend classes and government work in the capital and other areas, and leaving at least 6 dead, including 5 rescuers who were using a boat to help people trapped by floodwaters. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. calling them heroes and saying preparation for storms is very important. And in Puerto Rico, cleanup efforts continue a week after Hurricane Fiona made landfall. Nearly 1.5 million people still without electricity.
My home doesn't have any electricity. I don't have any water.
Disaster teams from Operation Blessing have been on the ground delivering food and water. They visited several communities and churches, distributing rechargeable solar lamps and aquatabs. The tablets purify water, giving residents clean water to drink and cook with.
That is exactly what we need now in this time where there are so many people with fear and anxiety. We feel blessed that we have Operation Blessing here because we know their heart.
George Thomas, CBN News.
And they're there to help because you cared enough to give. Whether it's in Puerto Rico or the Philippines, our Operation Blessing teams are operational right now, helping the victims of these storms. We're preparing for the storm in Florida, our warehouse facility in El Cala. We're making sure we're stocked up. Our trucks are running right now. Our disaster teams are pre-positioning in advance of this storm. And if you want to help all of these disasters, whether it's the Philippines, Puerto Rico, or right here at home in Florida, the floods in Kentucky, you can be a part of it by giving to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. A lot of different ways you can join and give to it. You can write to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. Just put OB Disaster Relief Fund in the memo line of a check. You can text OBDR, so that stands for Operation Blessing Disaster Relief, to 71777, or you can just call us, 1-800-700-7000. Just say you can count on me. When disasters strike, I want to strike back with love and